A lot of people assume that being a graphic designer means working just in the field of advertising. For some people, especially nerds, this can be a big turnoff when working in the field of design. But what if art is what you're good at? Michael Okuda shows us that you can still do nerd work when working in the field of graphic design. Working on projects for Star Trek and even NASA, Michael is an example that even in the field of graphic design, you can still do what you love best, including going where no man has gone before. Michael Okuda was born in Tokyo, Japan, while his father was serving at the Air Force overseas. Very shortly thereafter, his family moved to Hawaii, where he grew up. He attended the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where he received his bachelor's in the field of communication. During that time, and even thereafter, he worked on creating effects for small-budget commercials, he helped with several community theater projects, and he worked for the graphics for a medical center. While growing up, he not only had an interest in art, but he also loved science fiction and the real space program. He even had the privilege to see the moon landing on TV. Being a designer with such a strong interest in science and science fiction gave him what was necessary to do the jobs he has done and continues to do. These early opportunities that Michael had with theater and TV design taught him how to work with tight budgets and even shorter deadlines, which prepared him for his work he did with Star Trek. He started working with the franchise after he sent Paramount a few sketches for the panel art that would work for the panels that they used on the movie. The panels on the movie were rounded instead of rectangular. He later was called up by Paramount to see if he would like to work on their next movie. His first job was creating effective yet cheap panel art for the set of Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. He then went to work on the set of Star Trek The Next Generation as a scenic artist. He worked his way up to Star Trek's art supervisor and was also in charge of creating the alien language graphics and the Lakaris computer system, which was used on the ship's computer on the show. These are affectionately called Okudagrams for Michael Okuda. Since then, Michael has been working with Star Trek on the multiple shows and movies they have made since The Next Generation, and he has also helped recently remaster the original series. He, along with his wife Denise, who is also a designer working on Star Trek, they both wrote a technical manual for the show and were also used by the writers on giving technical advice. Being a space nerd also helped Michael to design mission patches for NASA. He was asked to design several different patches for the programs that were going on at NASA. One of the first patches he created was the Spaceflight Memorial Patch, which hangs in Mission Control along with the patches of the missions that his patch was created in memory for: Apollo 1, Columbia, and Challenger. One of the biggest projects NASA is currently working on is a plan to go back to the moon and establish a more long-term human presence there, and hopefully travel to Mars. This means that they will be retiring the Space Shuttle program and are in the process of creating Ares 1, which is modeled after the rockets they were using during the Apollo missions. The overseeing program is called the Exploration Systems Mission Directorate, or ESMD for short, and the project itself is called Constellation. Michael was asked to create an image for the program, so he sent a few sketches. This one is for the ESMD program itself. I have a cup because I went to NASA. He also created several patches for the specifics of the program. The program is called Constellation. The shuttle that they're using is called Ares. And then these are for other little things. When he was finished with the images via computer, they are now already being used in conjunction with the program. Being a graphic designer can mean a lot of things besides just working in advertising. Michael is an excellent example of this. Being a designer with a love for science, he is able to work for one of his favorite shows. He also was able to create images for the future for NASA's up-and-coming project. He shows that being a designer doesn't mean you have to lay aside your favorite hobbies to do a job that is only part of what you want to do. You can be a designer and a nerd.